Hello everyone and welcome to Lush and Salty Aquariums. My name is Stefan. Thank you for coming to my channel. Okay, what's going on in the 135 gallon freshwater display tank? Well, let's get to the bottom of that question. Literally, I put in a few pieces of blanched zucchini to attract some of the bottom feeders in this aquarium out and about. Not that they need a whole lot of enticement. They're generally pretty boisterous, not shy for whatever reason in this tank, and I am forever thankful for that. Nevertheless, zucchini is manna from heaven to these guys. Now there's a pair of male super red Bristlenose Plecos. God, they look like twins. Now there's a juvenile, and I think that's just a straight standard fin Plecostomus. It's possible it's a bit more exotic variant, as I did put in a moonlight Pleco, I think. Maybe that's a hybrid. I don't know. I think it's just a straight up, right now it's being sandwiched by that super red. It's a zucchini baby Pleco sandwich. But you see how much they love to eat this, and it's super good for them too. Look at that. How fun is that? Both sides, folks. These fish get along famously. I've never seen conspecific aggression between them. As I speak, here comes Big Daddy, that lemon blue eye. But even that was just about getting to the food. Look at that. What a mug, right? So ugly, it's beautiful. I'm pretty sure that's a lemon blue eye because not an albino on account of the eye isn't red. 95% certain. So now we're looking at two super red males, another male. You tell the male by their mustache or their bristles. The females have a very modest, if one at all. And it looks like I'm looking at a fraternity here. And obviously with the juveniles, you just can't tell at this point until you start to see that and other factors. There is another juvenile, perhaps the same variety as this one, but they have those lovely spots. And you know, I'm not a calico expert, so any of you Plecostomus experts, so any of you Pleco is what I was looking for, calico. I guess because this is a calico color, but those of you who are Plecostomus breeders, bristlenose breeders, let me know if you think that's just the standard fin Plecostomus. We know what those are. Pretty iconic, easy to tell, and we talked about them as they muscle away on that zucchini. But I'm not 100% certain. I wouldn't bet my whole nest egg on what exactly what species that it is, what type of Plecostomus, what L number, what common name. Is it the same as this one? Some time ago, I started seeing the little babies once they got brave, and here's yet another. That's a bigger fish, and that has a long fin. So that's a long fin variety, probably the parent of the little ones I'm looking at. So there's about a 50% chance, give or take, that either one of those would develop a long fin if indeed that was the mom or the father. Now see, I don't see any bristles, but that could be an ancestress catfish that doesn't have bristles. So if you were looking for extremely informed content in this particular video, I'm asking more questions than I'm answering. So, I mean, is that okay? I hope so, because I'd love to hear from you, and that gives me something I can look forward to in terms of learning more about what exactly I have in here. The reason I don't know everything is because with a big tank like this, I could be a little bit more reckless. I knew I just wanted catfish that weren't gonna grow too darn big, and I knew I wanted different types of bristlenose, and so while I was at swaps, I would buy one or a pair here or there when they were super tiny. And yeah, I knew that I would be paying the piper in that they were all gonna get big. I didn't expect the breeding. I'm not sure why. They're not that tricky to breed. I certainly didn't put the clay caves in here for that purpose, but Lord knows Mother Nature provided equal, if not better, solutions for boudoir to these creatures up and in this hardscape here, behind the Anubias, behind the stone, the lava rock, beyond the bogwood, deep up and in there, plenty of nooks and crannies for any of the fish that favor the bottom or hidey holes to breed and reproduce. And I have certainly seen that with the bristlenose. But there are several species, and here's some albinos, by the way. That, you see the red eye? So that's the difference. Otherwise, they're pretty much, at this size, they're pretty similar looking. I slightly favor the lemon blue eye. When they're juveniles, they're just a little more elegant looking, but yeah. Now they're all in that 4-inch range, and so the albino and the lemon blue eyes, in my tank anyway, tend to look very similar. Like I said, I'm staying at the bottom on this video to give it a point of view. I've got various Corydoras in here, quite a few actually, if I can find them. And I've got some Farlowella catfish, as well as a few other species of exotic, smaller catfish. And hopefully we will find some. Now there's what are the most common Corydoras. The guy said he bought them as Venezuelan, but he was being honest with me when he said he didn't think so, or they were an inferior strain. You do see some of the orange saddling on their shoulder, which would be emblematic of that particular species, but honestly that just looks like a bronze Coryodora. And I think I don't know why I put those in here or why I purchased them. I have Adelphoi Corydoras in here, and believe it or not, there's quite a few. I don't see a damn one of them. And I also have Sterbai Corydoras in here, and likewise struggling to find them for whatever reason. Hello, Mr. Rubber Lips. There's a Sterbai. Did you see him scuttle off? And there's another one right there. There's a group. So the fabulous Sterbai Coryodora, for a while they were one of my favorite in that fabulous grouping of fish, the Coryodoras. I just liked the, there you go, sorry. Lost my train of thought because we're looking at a long fin Plecostomus. And when they're on the glass like this, you get a great sense of their anatomy, the tummy, the bat-like fins. I mean, I don't know how much of this is natural in terms of the long fin. I think it's hybridization and breeding over the years, but still, nature is definitely doing a number when it comes to these creatures. I mean, just like with a lot of other fish, like your angelfish or your swordtails, mollies, and platies, there's something about the long fin, be it unnatural, it's still stunning. And I'm not afraid to admit that in most cases I prefer it. And that was absolutely my vibe when it came to the bristlenose. I mean, if you're gonna have these catfish, you might as well go all in. And most breeders or sellers tell you they'll get more money for the long fin varieties versus the standard fin, especially in the common brown, the chocolate, the most basic of bristlenose. Now, I don't see any of the iconic mustaching on this particular specimen, so it's either a female, which I hope it is, and therefore lends a lot of credence to it being the mother of these smaller ones there, if indeed they're the same species, or it's a kind of rubber lips that doesn't feature the bristlenose. And as I said earlier in this video, the reason I don't know is because in the best sense of the phrase, I didn't care. I was at a swap, I had a big tank to fill, I was feeling myself and just like super excited and kind of bought willy-nilly. Look at this, it's like Skittles shrimp, but with plecostomus. Brown, yellow, red, spotted, and there they all are on the zucchini. So cool, so much fun. I'd love to find, there you see the juveniles back there. I don't know how many of those I have in here. I'd love to find a Farlowella for you while we're doing this exercise. Huh? Where is he, buddy? You've got that zucchini all to yourself. No fair, no fair. I see an Autosynclus back in there, and I have plenty of those for sure. And then up and in here, I have the Godzilla-sized Amano shrimp. They have to be big to be able to survive in a tank like this. And there you go. There's a Farlowella catfish, the living dinosaur. And obviously doing fabulous. Look at him waving at us. Nobody's attacking that fin, that long tail fin. It's like he's kind of doing it's like he's twerking. This fish is twerking for us, folks. A new phenomenon at Lush and Salty Aquariums, the twerking Farlowella catfish. And look at him under the light. How cool is that? That's a great shot. I'm not a photographer, and there is some debris on the glass a little bit, but that is a great shot of the Farlowella catfish. That animal's been in here since day one. There's another one, and I swear to God, there are some babies of those as well. Because I saw a small version of that, and I didn't buy a small version of that recently, so anything's possible when you put two fish into a tank like this with all these plants, the high quality foods I like to give, many hiding spaces, and luck. Now that we've seen him, how can you can't unsee him, right? Pretty spectacular and very hardy. I highly recommend this as a centerpiece showstopper. Kids love looking at it when they come over. Not that we have a lot of kids coming over, but who wouldn't? Whoop! There's the teacup size Millennium rainbow fish. I always say this is how speaking of children, how a child would draw a fish. If you give them a magic marker, they wouldn't quite get the dimensions right, or maybe they would, because here it is. There's three of them. Ding, dong, ding, molary and curly. Big and goofy and fabulous and stunning at the same time. A lot of aquarium fish are like that. There's one or two other exotic catfish in here. There, see, there's a little one. Now, I don't think that's a Farlowella. That's a different, I forget what they're called, but you just saw him duck under this red tiger lotus. I know it's not progeny of this, but it's a juvenile. That is a juvenile. I did not purchase that fish. Now, is it a juvenile Farlowella? I don't see the tail fin being, yeah, maybe. So, why not? It looks exactly like that one now that we're talking about it. I'm so glad this fish came out. I did not buy this fish, folks. So, guilty. How awesome is that? I got to show you pretty much everything. We haven't seen much of the Adelphi Corydoras. For all I know, their priority, their territory is in the back, not because they're hiding, but because it's open real estate and there's plenty of plants back there. It's not, there's one. There's an Adelphi, you see? No wonder. That was like, my first fantasy was having like 50 of those in here. And I put 24 little babies in here when I first set up the tank. I don't know how many are left. I may have found in the last 2 years 1 or 2 corpses. to be frank, but I'm not having a lot of problems right now, knock on wood, with this aquarium. Zucchini is a great food for a lot of creatures besides the ancestress catfish. All your live bears will pick at it a lot. Now, these aren't right now, but in my other tank, where it's more them than the other kinds of fish, they're all over it. Honestly, though, live bears will eat, you know, a lot of different things with great vigor. And of course, this guy will get into that zucchini, the reticulated version of the Siamese algae eater. Everything you fear when you put them in is right there, and it's not that much to fear. If you have a big tank, this guy is a gentle giant. He hasn't bothered or pestered any fish. You can see, look at those tail, those long appendages. He hasn't chased those. Sometimes the book on this type of fish, the Siamese algae eater, and certainly the Chinese algae eater, and there are others in between those two, get lumped together. They can be fish chasers to try to get the slime coat off of the side of a fish, and that can be very detrimental to the other fish. They can also hog food, and this one is guilty of that. He loves the food when I put it up top there, but he still does his job and eats algae. And algae's not been a problem in this aquarium, knock on wood again. Anyway, that was getting to the bottom of things at Lush and Salty Aquariums, the freshwater display tank for your viewing pleasure. As always, folks, keep your hands in the tank, and ciao for now.